Welcome to the Putnam County Board of Commissioners meeting. We're going to call the meeting to order. Invocation will be led by Allison Wetzel from Howe Memorial United Methodist Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Larry Harvey. Please rise if you're able to do so.
Good morning. Let us bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, your wisdom, and your support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage meaningful discussion and make decisions that reflect the best interests of our county. Grant us the ability to listen with an open heart and speak with clarity, that our work today may be fruitful. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, we have the approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the minutes of the regular meeting for February 24th, 2026, as stated in our packet.
Second.
I have a motion second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Not here right now.
Bill's not here, right?
Mr. White?
Yeah, I don't see him yet. All right. We'll go I don't see Brittany either. Is Brittany here?
She's running a few minutes late, but Miss Parker is ready.
I was going to say, we'll just go right into Lori Parker, HR, Human Resources. Good morning.
Morning.
How's everybody?
Good.
Very well.
We received nominations for Employee of the Month, and you're about to hear how Miguel Flores, who is the Employee of the Month, has exceeded expectations in his performance and his personality and attitude that brings everybody together at Animal Control. There you go. She has her speech she's about to read, but Miguel Flores is Employee of the Month for January.
Yay.
Thank you, Miguel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I wanted to say a couple of things that the coworkers said about Miguel, just so I can share with y'all how special he really is. Kennedy wanted to miss school for Miguel. She calls her she's his best friend. Miguel is one of the hardest working people I've ever met. He makes work feel like a team effort instead of all the work being on one person. Miguel always does things right, even when no one is looking. And he really is the guy that you want to be a role model for animal care. So everybody, Miguel definitely earns this, so let's give him another round of applause.
Miguel, do you have family here? Is your family here? They're welcome to come up.
Yeah, please come up.
Please come up.
All of us family.
Yeah, we'll
please.
get a picture. Congratulations. I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
They'll be fine in 5 minutes.
Great.
Can y'all get in? Okay. You can stand up here too if you need to. Please. Yes.
Those shirts turned out good.
Yeah, I like those.
Gotta get
They look
seated.
really good.
Yeah, y'all can come up here if you want. You're fine. We don't bite. Why don't we bring a dog or cat?
Congratulations.
Miguel, is that your parents? Do you want a picture with just them?
Laura, can we do one more picture?
Yeah. Hey, parents?
You're going back in?
He wants a picture.
With his family.
with his family. We're gonna bring more people into the,
Get up to the center. There you go.
there you go, there you go.
Good.
All right, come on in.
All right, three. 1, 2, 3. Good. One more.
Good. All righty.
Miguel definitely deserved that. Every time I go out there, he's always very helpful. And I appreciate all the hard work that everybody does at Animal Services.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna have to come back to presentations and go right into the planning and development public hearing. Okay, we'll go ahead with this.
All right, we shall begin with case REZ 25-000020. Sorry for the delay. The application is by the applicants Albert Miles Jr. and his agent Veronica Miles. They are requesting a zoning map amendment from commercial retail C2 to commercial general C3 on 0.57 acres of land located at 147 Phillips Dairy Road in Palatka, to allow for the development of outdoor storage. Surrounding zonings include intensive and retail commercial. The subject site has a future land use designation of commercial. The parcel has approximately 320 feet of access from Phillips Dairy Road according to the National Wetlands Layer and the FEMA Flood Zone Layer on the GIS reference map. The lands do not appear to contain wetlands and is located in FEMA Flood Zone X, which is not a special flood hazard area. Should the applicant's request be approved, the applicant will then be subject to a second review by the Development Review Committee before obtaining any permits for development on this property compatible with the C3 zoning district. Here you can see an aerial overview of the property. Here you can see the future land use. You will know that it is part of a commercial nodal area. Here you can see the zoning. On the far left side of this map, you will notice that the kind of L-shaped property there, it has recently also been changed to commercial 3 as well, and just beyond that there is commercial 4. Staff recommends approval of the request to amend the zoning map from commercial retail C2 to commercial general C3. Staff finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the adopted comprehensive plan and meets the locational requirements of the commercial general C3 zoning district provided in the Land Development Code and the comprehensive plan, at the February 11th, 2026 Planning Commission hearing. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval to the Board of County Commissioners for the proposed map amendment. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for the presenter? All right, is there anybody, this is a public hearing, is there anybody in the audience who wishes to speak on this item? All right, seeing no one come forward, it's back to the board.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move approval of ordinance number 2026-008, amending ordinance number 2512-12, an ordinance of Putnam County. Ordinance of the County of Putnam, State of Florida, amending the official zoning map for Putnam County Incorporated, Article 2 of the Putnam County Land Development Code, ordinance number 2025-12, rezoning .57 plus or minus acres from commercial retail C2 to commercial general C3, providing for severability, and effective date, case number REZ 25-000020, Albert Miles.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Michael. Next up, we have Brittany from Episcopal Children's Services. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
We have it in our packet. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Brittany Spangler. I'm from Episcopal Children's Services, and I did provide a PowerPoint presentation that's in the packet. In case you're not familiar, I can still go over all of the different programs that we have throughout the packet. If you want me to move forward with just the quarterly updates, if you go to page 7 on the packet, our year-to-date numbers so far, we have an average of 750 Putnam County children receiving the school readiness services, with about 549 of those being from low-income families. We have sent out 280 funding notifications, and I have an updated number of 154 to date that have received funding, new funding since those have been sent out. We have 29 child care programs that are contracted to serve school readiness children, with 10 of those being family child care homes. 446 children currently participating in the voluntary pre-kindergarten program, and 23 child care programs that are contracted to serve those VPK children. And so far year to date, we have completed 1,203 child care resource and referral contacts for families, which is on consumer education, financial assistance, community resources, and child care listings, as well as other information. And that's families reaching out to us, seeking information, not only about child care, but other community resources. What's not on the slide, we are currently enrolling still for school readiness. We're sending out funding notifications weekly, and our VPK program has just opened up for the 26-27 year, so families can apply online for that as well. So any questions for me?
I see you have on here, you made a note about how the income threshold had increased.
Yes. Actually, October 1st, I believe I was able to talk about that last time, but the state itself changed the entry-level income from 150% of the federal poverty level to 55% of the state median income, which is about an $8,000 difference for families of entry into the program. So that's been amazing. When we've been able, as we're sending out these funding notifications, more families are qualifying for services.
And the majority of your funds comes through the state, is that
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Okay.
Majority of it's federal funding. We are required to do a 6% match. For the VPK program, which is the voluntary pre-kindergarten program, that's strictly state funds.
All right.
But the school readiness is federally funded.
Very good. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Brittany, for being here today. You know, I remember many years ago, we didn't get these updates from agencies that were with us, and a lot of people said they were helping our people, but we saw the numbers weren't there. So I do appreciate you coming. I think transparency is very important there. When you talk about the match, and that was going to be my question about funding, where do you make up the 6% at? Can people donate to your organization? So we're trying to give you a little commercial break here if you want one, But how does someone help you be successful in helping Putnam County children be successful?
They're currently in legislation right now. I believe there was a bill that just passed that we're trying to understand it a little better. It looks like people can start personal, like individuals can donate, but right now I reach out to all of the different counties that we serve and reach out to the Board of County Commissioners, the United Way, the City of Palatka, and all the different small little towns, and ask for the match.
Okay.
And those who can provide money, those who can't, let us know, and that's okay too. Right now, we are receiving for Putnam County, Board of County Commissioners, $5,000. City of Palatka, where they were able to increase this year from $3,000 to $5,000.
Good.
And United Way, I know the number was 10,000, and I believe that changed just a little bit off and on, but that's currently where we're getting our funding from.
Well, thank
And I
you.
will, of course, be requesting.
Right.
Thank you very
Share
much.
if
Thank you,
will.
Madam Chair.
Well, very good. Thank you for everything you do in the community. I know your program is very vital to our community for people, for the working parents and for the students to be able to get an early education.
Of course.
So-
And one thing that anybody can do, if there's any community events or anything where you would like for us to come out and talk about our services or meet with families directly, we're more than willing to go out and do that. That is part of our child care resource and referral program, is to try to get the word out there as much as possible, because as much as we try, there's still people who have no idea about our services. So just getting the word out is one of the biggest accomplishments we can do.
Very good. All right. Do you have any comments or questions? All right. Yep,
Great.
thank you. We appreciate
Thanks so
your
much.
update. Do you have anybody here from the St. John's Water Management yet? All right, moving into public comment on agenda items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit the time to 3 minutes. Public cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. So we're going into consent agenda items. Do we have any comment cards on agenda items? All right. Any commissioners wishing to pull any items, starting with Commissioner Harvey?
I have none, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Pelletier?
I have none.
Commissioner Alexander? I have none. Commissioner Newbold?
Nothing to pull, thank you.
I have nothing either.
Madam Chair, then, based on that, I move that we approve consent agenda items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H.
All right.
Second.
And we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, going into new business, Public Works, dirt to pave for fiscal year '26. It's in your packet. I don't know that we need a presentation, but if you want one, we'll get one. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Stout?
Madam Chair, if you mind if I took a point of privilege?
That's fine.
Yesterday, in reviewing this, I contacted Public Works Director Stout and went over in my district, and there's some roads that really need to be changed. Added Cessna Way and Cessna Drive, right there by the airport at Melrose Landing. Piper Drive is the road to the north, on the north side of the runway, and Cessna's on the south side. So I would ask that, if you don't mind, that we include those roads as part of my dirt to pave list, and then look at an alternate, keeping Melrose Landing circling around as an alternate while we're there. We'll go ahead and design it, we'll get a price on it, and see if we can fit it in our budget. If we can't, then we'll come back at another time and add that road, but it'll already be designed. So those are the only changes I would like to make on that list, is adding Cessna Way, Cessna Drive, and then using the list that you currently have is looking at an alternate on Melrose Landing, bringing that around while we're there, if we can afford to do that road. If
Yeah.
not, we'll be ready for another cycle down the road.
Okay, so my comments would be, there's not a budget amount on this agenda item, is there?
No, ma'am, I didn't put the
All right,
current
so I
budget.
don't know if what he's proposing is within our budget or not.
It's less
Yeah.
mileage than.
Yeah, it's less mileage. It'll fit right, it'll bring us right at the budget mark. We're averaging about 550,000 per mile on dirt to pave, so it'll be right there on the cusp. And it's, again, one of those things there, if we come in budget, if we get a price on it, we can always value engineer it and move it to the next year if it doesn't follow within budget.
Okay,
We also have, Better Place Plan reserve dollars that can also come into play if the board wanted to use those also.
well, listen, if we're gonna use that, we're all gonna be giving you roads. I mean, let's just be real. Mr. Grimes, you're recognized.
As that's just a preliminary list, you know, I don't know that while we're in the area, I mean, is this, as we talk about, is doing maintenance, right? And we're trying to get out of neighborhoods, is to go ahead and just to design it all while we have, I mean, we're just giving direction to staff that, hey, these are the roads we want to do. That we don't design the whole neighborhood, right, while we're there. Because if it's going to follow in years to come for the dirt to pave, we're sending a survey crew out there to do 5 roads. If we go ahead and do 7 roads, it's designed. Not saying that we're going to buy it,
Right.
but having it designed. I was just wanted to talk with Mr. Stout while you're in front of you, is to go ahead and design that whole Melrose Landing area. Not that we put it all out to bid. Maybe we do and see where it comes in. And then we got another decision to make at your level,
Right.
where you can always come back and cut it, lean it, and go, hey, put this into another year. But we don't know till we put it on the street, right? We may save a lot of money by doing a whole entire neighborhood at one time, much like we did last year or 2 years ago in District 1, when we went ahead and just took the bite out of the apple and did all of Saratoga Harbor at one time because we saved mobilization fees. So I think it's a very wise to sit here in a whole neighborhood, and we're just going to use Melrose Landing today, and just go ahead and look at design the whole thing, put it out for bid. We can always, when we come back, we can go, hey, yep, can't do it. We're only going to issue these roads. And then it can save money. So I just want to think of those things long term. Is just go ahead and put it out there and see what it brings back. We don't know till we bring it to you guys.
Okay.
So to be clear, Madam Chair,
Yeah, please.
we're going to take Cessna Way and Cessna Drive, put it on there, and then we're going to alternate, we're going to look at Melrose Landing all the way around, like JR just mentioned, and that'll clean up that whole area. If we can't afford to do Melrose Landing, we'll come back another year and do that, but we'll have the other ones. And adding Cessna and taking that off actually reduced my mileage down from 2 point something to 1.78. So it's, you know, we don't know with the budget till the numbers come in and how hungry the contractors are at that time.
And I have just, to put this out there, one thing that we have done that has helped reduce prices, and I've talked to 2 different contractors about this, they had the same answer to my questions, was the way we're grouping them together to get out of an area with a grader is helping, and the fact that we're awarding them by district, not by road, is saving us a ton on mobilization fees. So they acknowledged that they're able to bring their prices down and want to continue working with us because we're being more strategic in what we're doing.
Yeah,
Correct.
That's just good business.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, do you need a motion?
please.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept the Public Works Dirt to Pave 2026 road list with the Cessna Way and Cessna Drive added in, and the engineering of Melrose Landing around from Piper to the other roads. So that's my motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, public comment on miscellaneous items. I'm not going to read it again. I've already read it once. Yeah. Yvette Reyes?
Good morning, Yvette Reyes, P.O. Box 253, Boswick. One thing I would like for you guys to consider is possibly increasing the funding that you give to Episcopal. I personally know that they do a great job for our community and our children. Thank you, Brittany. And then the second thing, thank you for finally recognizing animal services publicly, where you actually gave Miguel. Hopefully they won't be mad at me, but to me, he's like the best they got up there. Every time I went up there, he was friendly, helpful, and just so professional, regardless of what was going on in the chaos. So, thank you.
Thank you. Willie Leluson.
Good morning, I'm Willie
Good morning.
129 East Calpin, Lake Point Road, Hawthorne. Can y'all hear me all right? Right.
You can pull it up a little bit if you want.
Okay.
There you go.
Not really sure how to use this. I want to congratulate y'all on the purchase of the boat ramp at George's Lake. That's a great thing for the community and the county as a whole. And I also wanted to bring to your attention that the owner of the neighboring property who sold the boat ramp parcel is interested in selling his property for conservation, and the state's interested in purchasing it. But the state won't move forward with acquisition unless they have a willing manager. We've reached out to all the state agencies, and none of them are willing to manage that property. So I wanted to propose that the county consider managing it. It's about 200 acres. The boat ramp area would make a great trailhead parking. There'd be minimal maintenance needed for the property. The county could cooperate with Division of Forestry for the land management portion, you know, controlled burning every few years, maintaining fire lines. It's a beautiful piece of property, lots of nice natural communities, and it's part of the greater Florida Wildlife Corridor, an important connector in that area between the Etna State Forest and the Belmore State Forest. So it could be a great opportunity for the county to help the state acquire more conservation lands without costing the county any considerable amount of money, you know. So I think management would be pretty minimal. So just wanted to, I don't know how to move forward with this, but if that's something the county would consider, if you all could.
So who would be the owner?
The owner would be the state of Florida.
Right, and so they don't want to work with water management on managing the land? We don't have a land management division.
Yeah, I understand. But maybe it's something that could be done through the Parks and Rec or whoever's going to manage the boat ramp. The state will only purchase lands if an agency is willing to manage it, and it doesn't fit into any management goals of the agencies right now because they don't own abutting property. But since the county owns abutting property, it seems like it might be a good fit.
I see what you're saying. Commissioner Harvey, you recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I asked Mr. DeLosin to come and speak to the board today about this. I think it's a possibility, and you and I have talked about this. It would be something that would have to be very, very minimal maintenance that the county, in my opinion, if we took on any management. We don't want to go back to the days where we promised that we would do this, that, and paint it in gold, and we just cannot do certain things. And you and I have talked about that. We talked about the minimalist approach to taking care of this. So I think it's something that we should probably put in a pot, put it on the back burner, kind of get it warm and talk about it maybe in the future. Because I do think that if we can be in the conservation business with minimal effort, okay, and let the public use that. I'm not in agreement if we fence it off and say you can't touch it. That's not what this commissioner's about. But maybe some hiking trails around there, maybe partnering with the Georges Lake community on an MOU that they can go in there and cut certain lanes. I don't know the answer to that, but I don't want to build Ephesus. I don't want to build fences. I don't want to do a whole lot of work. I'd like the idea of the state owning the land and us doing a minimal work out there, a very minimal work. But I think for this board, I think it's good to start the conversation today, and then we'll come back at another date, maybe possibly, and see if there's any interest in going forward at this point. And that's what Mr. DeLosin's here for today.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
Parks and Rec is currently in the process of identifying needs in the county. There's an advisory committee that is working in that direction. I could certainly take this to Parks and Rec and have some discussion and just talk about, you know, levels of care and expectations there, and maybe come back after that.
Great.
Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
So has the state already made a commitment for the funds to purchase that if you could find an agreeable party to manage it?
They have an expressed an interest in acquiring it, they have to go through the appraisal process and negotiations with the owner. The funding is there right now for acquisitions in the Ocala-Osceola Wildlife Corridor. That funding probably is not going to survive the budget, and so this is kind of the tail end of the funding. There may be some funding in the future, but right now there is funding as long as there's a manager and they come to the agreement on price with the seller. The state can only pay up to appraised value, so they're limited by that.
And it's valuable to you guys, or to the state, because it aligns with that wildlife corridor.
Correct.
And it has wetlands on it. It's on the lake.
Yeah.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
May I ask staff to weigh in on this and get their opinion?
Yeah, I had, Julianne had her.
All right, we're good. We're all on the same page today.
Good morning. This is the first I've heard of the proposal. From a Parks and Recreation standpoint, we'd be very interested in exploring the opportunity. Green spaces is something that we know as a county we're not getting more of. So if there's an opportunity for us to get more and partner with a community that could open up some additional nature type recreation, not to be a big financial impact, but nature type recreation, that'd be something that Parks and Recs from a department would be very interested in.
All right. Mr. Grimes, I know you had your light on earlier. Did you have any other comments?
I got a lot of questions. I just want to do a little research, because I mean, I really want to know what's going to be, what can because when the state buys lands, there's restrictions.
Yes.
What are the restrictions that can be done on the property? Is it truly the county doing a management plan? Is it truly the county having, I'm just going to use timber, for instance,
Yes.
right? Is it the county doing a timber management plan? The county engages contractors, vendors to cut the timber. Who gets the revenue?
Right.
I mean, because if we're going to manage it, it needs to be managed such as an adventure, right? I mean, it needs to be managed properly. Wildfire, it needs to be prescribed burned. Who's responsible for the prescribed burning? Is it us? Is it Division of Forestry? If it is the Division of Forestry, I'm a bit confused on why they don't want it touching all of their current lands that they have in that Etnia State Forest. So I would really, those are the details that I'd like to see. Is what's the county going to do? Are we just the agency that gets to go open the gate? Or what restrictions are put on the county from the state level, right? Because we could take 200 acres of land in the Georges Lake and use it as green space. We could also do a management plan. You could produce some revenue off of it. There's a lot of opportunity there. Just don't know what the restrictions are. I mean, we've looked at some personal stuff in conservation, and it looks like you can manage it as you owned it, and then you continue to sell timber. You can raise livestock. You can grow blueberries. I mean, there's so many things you can do. But I'd like to see what the restrictions are going to be to the county.
All right, very good. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Yes, ma'am. All the questions that Mr. Grimes had are great, but anytime you involve a state agency or a federal agency, there's always some control issues, questions, responsibility, liability. I'm almost to the stance that I would consider maybe even the county purchasing it, depending upon where he was at as a price, since it is adjacent to other properties we had. And to Ms. Holmes' point, green space, it abuts other properties within our county, or they're getting fewer and farther in between. So I would be interested to see what the value that the owner puts on it, and what the appetite from the board and staff is for potentially purchasing it as a green space or park for that community, because we're going to continue to experience growth in our county, and opportunities like this don't always come up. So I think we got a couple of different paths to explore.
Okay. So I think the recommendation, though, is to go back in front of the Parks and Rec Board Committee. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Newbold? Commissioner Newbold?
Yeah.
We just need more information, but I think your starting point would be sitting down with Julianne and Commissioner Newbold.
Okay, great.
And JR and Mr. Suggs,
Yep.
or whoever else they assign.
So should I start with Julianne? Okay. Great.
All right, thanks for coming forward.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yes, sir.
It's great to hear your interest in this.
Thank you. Mr. Ralph Heggie. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Ralph Hagee, 112 Paul Drive, Hollister, Florida. Okay, I've got a concern about, a question. When we hire contractors to do whatever job that might be, do we grade these contractors? I mean, do they get a grading of what, their level is? I mean, we get reviews when we look up stuff on, Amazon or whatever it might be to see about what good the product is. So I'm just wondering, do we grade these contractors? That's a question that brought to me. And then another question is there any way that we can have a meeting at least once a month here in the evening? Because I get several people saying that, they're always working, only as retired people or people that have the luxury to come here during the day. But I was thinking that maybe, even one day a month, either the evening here, like we're here now, here now, and then maybe this evening on the same day. You could do it the same day, or you could pick a day that might, where we have the opportunity to come here. And, I know maybe they've done it before, but, we got a lot more people now. I mean, we got, Florida's growing. So I just wanted to bring that to your agenda. And then another thing is, I don't know if I'm at the right place to ask for this or not, but maybe you could direct me in the right way. I live in Hollister, and I've been there like 30 years. And within the first 5 years, they had a vote on mail delivery. Well, it's been 25 years ago. And I'm just thinking, are we ever going to have mail delivery out there? Because it causes me mass confusion whenever I order something. I got two zip codes, and they get screwed up all the time. And it's like I had to come to Palatka to get my order. I just wondered, I didn't know if this is the place to do it. If it's not, then maybe somebody could direct me in the right direction, because it's been 25 years, and I'd like to see it before I die. Maybe put me a mailbox out there. We got paved roads out there, so. But anyway, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know if this is the place to address that. But my main concern was the contractors. We need to, I think we need to do a grading scale, maybe a percentage or something, when we have stuff done, as far as buildings, whatever it might be. I think they ought to have some kind of grading scale. But thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Any questions or? All right, it's good to see you all.
Thank you.
Glad you got to see me.
Thank you. Commissioner Harvey, did you have any comments?
Madam Chair, if you don't mind, just for the board's sake, the community of Hollister was lumped into Palatka, and for deliveries, Congressman Yoho, Congressman Kamek, Congressman Waltz, and Congressman Fine have worked on that. But it's not, United States Postal Service is a different animal. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing we can do at this level. And these guys even tried, and there's nothing. I mean, they got a post office there, 32147, but the problem is the community is registered as Palatka, mm-hmm. and it throws off deliveries, mail. It screws up a lot of things, but that's beyond our lane. We have to, and these other congressmen have tried this multiple times and hasn't worked out. So just want to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized. Give me just a second. Just a second. Let's get through our comments up here, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate what Mr. Hagee said regarding the evening meetings. When I was campaigning, that was a recurring theme that was brought to my attention. why don't you guys have a meeting where working people can come to it? And I understand that. They shouldn't have to sacrifice their vacation time or family time to come here, and maybe we could consider, we can't do it obviously once a month, because the logistics of allowing staff to come here in the evening, because they have lives as well beyond ours, just like you do. So Ms. Young and I had spoken about it when I first came into office, and there are definitely some challenges. Would be interested in visiting it again, perhaps not once a month, maybe once a quarter or once every 6 months, to give folks an opportunity to come in and see how things work in real life, and give them an opportunity to voice any concerns or any perhaps accolades of what we've been doing since we've been in office. But we'll definitely take it under consideration. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Palacio, you're recognized.
Mr. Hagee, I've talked to other commissioners all around the state about their meeting times, and some of them do have evening meetings, and some of them say this is productive, some not. To me, it doesn't matter. We'll meet at 3 in the morning, whenever y'all want to meet. It doesn't matter. It's my job to be here. The point that I found, and all the other commissioners in the state agree, it's the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about? If we're talking about, dog barking ordinance, it wouldn't matter when you had it. They could care less. If we said we're coming to get your guns this afternoon at 4 o'clock, you fill up that parking lot with Putnam County people. So it's all, to me, it's all on the subject matter as to what to turn out and how much people care.
And I think maybe if you, as commissioners, and I've seen this done before, if each commissioner wanted to have like something in their district and have like a forum or a town hall meeting, we can certainly do that as well. I think that's a little bit different than having just an open, everybody comes in, you just have a good conversation, give updates about what's happening in your district, and then, or countywide, because some things affect the whole county, not just your district, then we can certainly do that as well.
And that might be a better idea to see how it works, because, our schedules are a lot more flexible than staff's. And I'd hate for one of our staff to miss a baseball game or a kids event or something like that, when we could do it ourselves and take those recommendations from the community and bring it back to the commission. So I would be open to that as well.
And I would say on the grading, as far as our contractors, there is a process. When we hire somebody, it depends on the kind of contractor there is, but there is a follow-up. They go back, and we have staff that goes back and checks what work they did, and that kind of thing. Ms. Young, do you want to talk about that, or Mr. Grimes, do you want to address that real quick?
I'll take the first stab at it. Every building that we build goes through an inspection process through the building department like everybody else. Either it's it passes or it fails, right? They stick by the Florida Building Code. That's the permitting agency. We employ inspectors at Public Works that inspect all of the road and bridge projects. We sometimes hire, depending on the thing, as a third party, CEI. You guys awarded it at the very last meeting for a North Putnam drainage project that we may or may not have the staffing ability to go out and a project that big, because of sometimes it's our limited resources, right? And sometimes we get a quote on going out into the private sector and saying, hey, can you watch this project for us? And they do. And that's what we determined to do for the North Putnam drainage. Because we do have a lot of projects going on at one time, whether you have resurfacing going, or you have dirt to pave going, or you may have another project, striping. That goes on countywide. So we have people that go by. We have a county engineer. He's got staff that go behind him, bring back their recommendations. The Public Works Director just went out last week and actually went and did some pothole checking on dirt to pave before it got started, so we can make sure we're getting quality assurance. It does happen, whether it's a report card grade or not. I don't know that happens. But we are engaged in watching every single one of our projects. Other than that, most of your maintenance projects, such as an MSBU, we have a coordinator that watches projects inside the MSBU. So it gets watched. Even at my level, I go out and check. We're building a concession stand right now at Francis. I go out there every single day to make sure we're getting there. We did the same thing at Animal Services, make sure that the taxpayer and the board is getting what they directed us to go do. So it does happen. I don't know that we'd actually write out a report, but we do field inspection reports. They're available at Public Works if somebody wants to look at a particular project. We're relying upon our engineers to design the project to make sure that it gets done. So i.e. the fairgrounds, the architect of record comes by there once a month at our bi-weekly construction meetings and checks, make sure that the vendor is doing what they did by the architectural design. Fire station, same thing, right? The engineer of record comes out there. Each one of the trade engineers comes out and makes sure that what they drew on the paper is what happened. So yes, it absolutely, every one of the projects. But as far as like a grading or a percentage, no, because most of our bids, I mean, by your direction, are bid on the lowest bid, right? And it comes back, unless we'd go for some other specialized service.
All right, very good. All right. All right, I think that addresses that. Moving into, yes, sir, come on up. I'm gonna, you can come up to the podium.
Can't hear you.
Good morning again. But am I to go to the post office to address that, or?
You're welcome to meet with Congressman Fine's office because it's a United States Postal Service issue.
So is he located in Tallahassee?
Got an office right here.
Oh, right here?
In our building, yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yep, thank you.
And as far as the evening meetings, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of people here now. I mean, I know it takes time to build it up, you know, people to know it, that, hey, we got an evening, you know, meeting, so it takes time to do that, so just keep that in mind.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. All right, do we have any commissioner committee updates, starting with Commissioner Harvey?
I have none, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Palacier?
I have none.
Commissioner Alexander?
I have none.
Commissioner Newbold?
Nothing.
All right, me either. All right, appointments, starting with Commissioner Harvey.
It's my day to be first today.
Yes, sir, today's your day to be first.
I have no appointments, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Palacier?
I have none.
Commissioner Alexander?
I have none today.
Commissioner Newbold?
No appointments.
All right, me either. We're moving right along. Clerk of Court?
Good morning. I have no updates as
No
well.
updates, all right. Woo-hoo. County Attorney?
I'm not going to rock the boat now, so I
All
don't
right.
have any.
County Administrator?
Really, nobody? Okay, well, I got at least one, Madam Chair.
Okay, go ahead.
I've been asked to bring up Chimera Way. As you know, last board meeting, we had a lively discussion here. The board made a motion. It was at the end of the meeting, there's a consensus by the board to bring Chimera Way back to the board for further discussion. Having reached out to the representative of the citizens that were here, having spoken with Executive Director J.T. Stout from Public Works, we feel like the request of the citizens, and I had this conversation with their representative, the goals that they were seeking were met at the last meeting as far as Chimera Way. It is now, we didn't vacate any rights to it. It's basically considered a Class 2 road at this point, which does not obligate the county to any continuing maintenance. And when speaking with their representative, they agreed with that, and they were fine with us not bringing it back to the board this week.
Thank you for following up on that, because I had sort of forgotten, so thank you for doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any questions for Mr. Suggs? All right, moving into commissioner comments. Commissioner Alexander?
We're going in alphabetical order today, sir.
He's used to being called on first for that.
For something. No, just a good meeting. I wanted to thank Mr. Suggs and his group for putting together our annual report. I thought it turned out very well. And to keep it short and sweet, folks, this is the week of the fair. We've got a lot of kids out there that have worked their butts off with their livestock. We've got a lot of presenters out there. There's a lot of information. It's a great opportunity to go out and spend some time with your family and friends you may not get to see very often. Enjoy it. Next.
All right, before we go on, Mr. Grimes, you have a couple things you want to talk about?
Yeah, Commissioner Alexander just hit on just a little bit of it, but the fair this week, I mean, I know every one of you are going to touch it. But I'd like to thank you guys, because you guys have made an investment out there, from nothing but the matching roofs, to the paint that's on the walls, to a little bit of concrete, asphalt inside the buildings. Without you guys, none of that stuff would have been done. Without your discretion areas, you put it where I believe it really did make a difference. When you walk into the Tilton Arena, I mean, they've got a portion of it painted. I mean, it makes it look good. It is very presentable. If you guys have had an opportunity to look at one of the Ferris wheel pictures or something that somebody has shared, or maybe even a drone shot that somebody's flown over the fair.
I saw that, it was nice.
It looks amazing. And I mean, and it was just little things. So just, you know, I think you got people over there that are taking pride in that now. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job. But I just want to tell you guys that it looks great. And I think the kids are seeing it. And it's made a lot of progress over there. And just maybe a year and a half of time frame.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Grimes.
Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on that, and thank you for that recognition. There's a lot of people have been putting in a lot of work for a long time, and it's taken collaboration with the board, with the community. But please do. I think tonight is the hog sale, if I'm not mistaken.
Tonight, yes, is the swine show.
The show, yes.
Thursday will be your steer show, and then of course on Friday will be the sale of all. So yes, absolutely. Come on, bring your checkbook.
So that show tonight is fantastic. Come out and and take a look at something you've probably never seen before. Anyway, I did have the opportunity to go out to Mount Royal, to that community center. The annual report was a nice reference to kind of show off a little bit of what's been done in 2025 and our direction for 2026. So thank you for that. It was a great little piece. I'm not going to keep us any longer. That's
You're
it.
welcome to say whatever you want. We have time.
I'm good.
All right, Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to say about the fair. Yesterday I went out there at 4:30 and walked around with the fair president, and JR's right, Mr. Grimes is right. The whole aesthetics of the place is pleasing now. It's not embarrassing, and it's not anybody's fault. Like I always say, it's easier to govern when you have money, right? So, money's always tight, and we were able to put money in from our discretionary funds to help them out. And I will tell you, it's a showcase now to go out there. And I watched the weigh-in of the pigs yesterday, and that's an exciting, also depressing, because some pigs got rejected and they had to go home. And that's kids put their lives into these animals. I remember as a youngster raising pigs and steers for the FFA and showing them, and it's a lot of responsibility, but it's well worth the effort. And I asked one of the people yesterday, I said, so when these kids get rejected and their hog didn't weigh in, do they give up? And oh no, they come back the next year and they make sure that's working. And as bad as it may sound, what a life lesson that they get out of that. So, not everybody gets a ribbon for participating, and that's the way it is in this world. And I really admire all the people that were there yesterday, all the volunteers, our fair board members. I said, are y'all sleeping out here? Because, JR, you were there. I was on the fair board. There's a lot of work that gets done during that time that you don't have a clue what goes on. But it's such a great environment to go out there and see all the people, grandkids now that from my generation, and you just think, here we are building, planting trees that we're probably never going to sit under. But these kids will carry on this tradition for life, and that's what this community is about, is helping each other. And the fair is a big agricultural thing for me. And just the exhibits and how well clean it is, and it's a blessing to be part of that. So I just want to say that. I do want to thank those who could attend the Town of Interlaken's rededication of their old new building. That's a remarkable place. If you haven't been out to the new Old Town Hall, please go out and take a look at what they really did. They did a fantastic job up there, and they were very gracious to allow me to speak about my family and how we got there, my wife's family got there. And last but not least, Rodman Reservoir. I want to thank each and every one of you, not only because Save Rodman's important to me, but the environment's important to me. Every commissioner here stood up and was counted for. The legislators are scratching their head going, we heard from 3 people thinking that represents the community. Did not represent the community. We represent the community, and we hear from people, and Commissioner Palatka, you said it right. It's about the issues. People will show up when there's an issue, and they showed up and showed out to us about representing their environment and their water and the needs that they have and the history that they have with Lake Ocklawaha and the Rodman Reservoir and the Ocklawaha River. We're in a drought. There's no doubt we're in a drought, and we need to keep the water we know. And I just really want to thank each and every one of you commissioners for stepping up, going to Tallahassee, making that drive up and back the same day. It's hard. It's hard. And then you're testify for 3 minutes and go home. But you make a point when you're there. And I believe we made a point. And I want to thank Representative Sapp, Senator Leak, for stepping up and representing us. That's what our representatives do. They stand up for, even if they, I mean, it's hard to go against leadership, let's be honest. Yeah. But they stood up against leadership and said, my people don't want this. My people that I represent, that's not in their best interest. And that's what we elect people to do, is to represent us. So I really appreciate that. And our staff, I can't be more thankful for all the work that you've done on that issue too. And not just on that issue, but representing all of Putnam County. I remember the day we were up there for Putnam Day, and we shined. We really shined. And I want to continue seeing that as we go forward, because again, if we're not telling our story, somebody else is, and it might not be the story we want to be told. So we have a great story to tell. We all have hometown stories to tell about our region. We all grew up here. There's no reason we can't tell the proper story in the proper fashion. And Ms. Reyes, let me say, I enjoyed your face today talking about animal control, because I remember when your face was not like that, you know, and I'll say that. But it was a long time getting animal control up and running to where we're at today. The building, it was a dream when we first started years and years and years ago, but we're there now. So Putnam County is moving in a fabulous direction, and I want to thank each and every one of you for all your hard work and all the work that you've done up here. I know it's daunting, I know it's tiresome, but take time when you can to be with your family and get back in there and fight the fight for Putnam County. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Palacio, you're recognized.
Couple things. I think what you said, Commissioner Harvey, about the kids learning life lessons and that their hog didn't make weight and it had to go home. I think probably in that hog's eyes, a trip home was probably better than a trip to the freezer. But anyhow, but it is a life lesson taught that, you know, I didn't do so well this time. Next year I got to do better. I got to, you know, manage my, quit grinning, Alexander.
Sorry. Pretty good.
You inspired that.
That was almost as funny as Larry saying grandkids. I think it's great grandkids for him.
All right.
Talking about the fair and how it's changed, and I can remember going there as a kid, and I was telling this story to Mr. Suggs the other day. I can remember going in there as, you know, just a kid wanting to ride rides and eat cotton candy and all that stuff, and some kids say, don't step over there, you'll get shocked, you know, because it was not one of the safest places I've ever been in my life. But it functioned, and thank God nobody did ever get hurt badly that I know anything about. But it has come a long way. I've spoke to president of the Fair Association, and they have done a lot of good things there, and lots of more good coming. I'm very excited about it. Real quickly about Rodman, you're right. We stuck together, and we made our voice heard, and that minute, passionate few that were against it wanted to take it out, didn't win, didn't prevail, and I'm very happy about that. And but this is far from over. They'll be back, and we'll be back, as they say. Ed Taylor Fishing Tournament to save Rodman, April 18th. That's something to put on your calendar. Need to try to make some of that if we can. That's a good thing. I would like to see, and I don't know if this is our chamber's part, but I would love to see us reach out to all the organizations who thought that this past Saturday was a good day to have everything going on at one time in Putnam County. Road Heavers Boys Ranch Fishing Tournament, Palatka Spring Fest, the tractor pull, the county fair, market at the courthouse. That was just in our county, and just over the county line in St. John's, they had a rodeo. So we love to have participation and people turn out and spend money and go and do and enjoy our lovely piece of Florida that we have, but you can't go everywhere. And people would be more apt to go more places and spend more money if it was spread out a little bit. So I would like to, if it's the chamber's responsibility to reach out to those folks and say, hey, let's get on the calendar next year and spread our events out a little bit and see if we can't make it better for everybody. And as much as I would like to go to all those things, the volunteers are getting the fire worked out of them that, you know, I parked boats at 4 o'clock the other morning, and then I went and collected money at the fair for parking that afternoon or evening till 9 o'clock that night. So there's just so much of us to go around, but it is very good times in Putnam County. Lots of good things happening in various areas, and we just touch on a little bit here and there, but I'm excited about what the future holds for us, and it's a good day to be here and be a part of Putnam County's growth, and I'm proud of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So it's a good problem to have, right? Several events going on every weekend. They have a calendar. You can look at them at the Chamber's website, and there usually is 3, 4, 5, sometimes more events going on every weekend. I do want to call up Jason Fauché from the Forestry Service and just ask your opinion on whether or not the county should be issuing a voluntary burn ban or something like that.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Yeah, as you know, we're dry in a pretty severe drought. If you're from Putnam County, this is probably, I've seen it a little bit drier, but not this early in the years. So as going forward, I mean, this week I've been looking at the weather. That's what we do. We look at the weather morning, middle of the day, and afternoons before we set restrictions for the state. This week doesn't look terrible with fire weather. Yes, you're gonna have some winds. Humidity's a little high this week, but it's coming. It's
the rain's coming?
No, no rain ain't coming. I mean,
oh, okay. I thought you were saying the rain's coming.
No, the drought's gonna persist. What I've been hearing, I've been to meetings in Georgia, Tallahassee, everywhere, Okefenokee. They do a lot of reading off of it. It's the lowest it's been since 2011, and that was like in May. So all that is dry. So it's just a matter of time before we get into a even worse drought, in my opinion.
Okay.
So this week doesn't look terrible for fire weather.
Yeah, and we issue them 7 days at a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So next week maybe looking into it a little bit more, but
Okay.
yes. So in the cold fronts, I mean, we got a cold front today coming down, no rain. I mean, my weather app said 0.03. So.
Mr. Grimes, you're recognized.
I just want to, for the public's benefit, know when we do and when we don't set burn bans and burn regulations. 'Cause I think it's important,
I do too.
right? It's not one person's opinion. It's kind of a group effort. The first person that I call when I feel like we're getting dry is I reach out to our fire department leadership and also reach out to Mr. Fauché. Back when we had the freezes, I said, what do you think? He said, yes. So that's when I approached the board chair and asked, hey, can we go ahead and put this in, right? Because these guys do this every single day, so it's not willy-nilly, right? So when we decided to take the burn ban off, I made a phone call to Mr. Fauché and said, hey, what do you think the next few weeks look like? He says, I think we're okay. Well, then that gives our citizens an opportunity to do the things in their lives that they need to do. So even though sometimes we take a lot of heat, we have had the conversations that have happened in the background going, hey, what do you think? What is your professional opinion? What are your guys seeing out there? They're seeing crazy fire weather. They're seeing fires spot. They're seeing fires jump. He can go, hey, we need to slow this thing down. And we give them the opportunity, right? Because they're not necessarily a county department, but our county departments lean onto them for their professional opinion. So I did reach out to Jason yesterday and says, what do you think? He said, I think tomorrow we may see a little rain. If we don't see rain, then I'm going to sit down with the board chair again at their and fire department administration's leadership and go, hey, it's probably time again. But we had about a 4-week lull in here between that weather in the late winter and the early spring that we could let our agricultural community and our constituents do the things they needed to get done. If Mr. Fauché reaches out to me this afternoon and goes, hey, man, we need to get this, we're going to do it, right? So it is an effort behind the scenes of when we don't put a burn ban on. Our drought index is one of the key factors that we use. Yesterday it was 463, which was points less than when we took it off last time. But sometimes fire behavior does it, winds, humidity, things like that. So there is a lot of things that go into assessing that burn ban. But I just wanted to bring it out to the public that there are phone calls made that talk to our forestry officials and our fire departments and things like that to make sure that we're making the best decision for our constituents out there. So we're not just making it on our own.
Thank you. So the fires that we had over the weekend, they were not based on, a burn ban wouldn't have made a difference on these?
Well, I mean, because the forestry has the ability to override it in far as agricultural burns, right? They could have issued the permit on Yelvington Road that we had Saturday, outside of your burn ban, because they can trump your burn ban and give it to a certified burner. So that one maybe wouldn't have been prevented. The one in the south end, I talked to Chief back on Monday, was caused by a power line, right? They don't abide by our burn bans. There is different things that cause fires out there. I mean, it's not always somebody malicious. I mean, we have underneath power lines. I mean, we do have lightning that starts fires. I mean, so there's a lot of things, but we ask people this time of year, please try to restrict your burning. I mean, we probably need to look at some kind of media release of voluntary burn ban. Not necessarily as strict enforceable, but we may need to be there next week, right? So we just need to encourage our citizens to be smart, right? If you have any questions, we have forestry officials that can come out and assess and do things. That's a lot of what they do. I mean, they do mitigation. And maybe Mr. Fauché one day could come back and give us an idea what all their departments do. They do more than just firefighting, and they do a great job for the local resources that we have.
Thank you. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, I learned in this business a long time ago, you don't go fishing with a cast net. You might catch things you don't want to catch, right? Just don't throw the blanket over the whole thing. I think it's personal responsibility on our part. I got a pile that I'd like to burn, but I talked to our sanitation director. He said, just bring it out to the landfill. Bring it out to your collection centers. You can throw it in there. It doesn't cost you a thing to do that. I think a lot of this is based on personal responsibility. When the wind's blowing and it's fire danger and there's no water in the lakes, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out you don't light a match. And if you're cooking out, like I cooked out steaks the other night, the wind was blowing, I had a water hose sitting right there. If any embers took off that I was ready for, and when I got done cooking steaks, I put the fire out. It was that simple. So a lot of times, I don't know if we can manage all bad behavior is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
We just need to say, guys, use common sense here. Don't burn. You can see that the woods are dry. You can see the lakes are down. You can see this. This doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. So I think personal responsibility, but Madam Chair, whenever you need to pull the trigger, you have my full support on any burn ban that we can enforce in this county. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I wanted to add to that, as someone who has experienced a fire recently in one of our pastures, it didn't start at our property. It started at our neighbor's property. And the amount of resources that had to be dispatched to put this small fire out takes away resources that could have been your neighbors. You know, they were putting out a grass fire in a pasture, but they were all at my house. If there was a house, somebody's home, with their personal belongings that were burning, and they weren't able to get there in time because they were dispatched to a small fire over here because somebody was irresponsible, to me, you need to consider the impact that it's going to have on your neighbor. I mean, we're a small community. We pride ourselves on courtesy and taking care of our neighbors. This is something you need to be cognizant of. This what seems like a small impact here may take resources away from saving someone's home and their livelihood. So that's where I'm at.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
I know there are folks, citizens out there who are abiding to the burn bans. I've had several people contact me about large wood. You know, what do I do with my large wood? I don't want to burn it. I had one fellow say he took a whole load to the Crescent City station and they wouldn't take large wood. Said, hey, you can take it to Palatka. Am I mistaken there, or are there large wood prohibitions at the remote locations?
You have to pay for it if it's oversized. But if it's oversized with a trailer, we do have limitations. Anything over a trailer that's 6 yards needs to come to city.
It needs to come to Palatka. Yeah, that's a toughie. I think, people in those remote locations, I'm afraid that stuff either gets burnt or gets dropped in the woods somewhere. But I don't know if there's any help for that, in the long run. I don't know how big a problem it is. But strangely enough, in the last week, I've had, 2 people ask me that question. So anyway, I'll talk to you about it sometime to see if there isn't something creative. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Jason. We appreciate you coming up. I want to just take a point of privilege and recognize Tyler Nolan from the Northeast Florida Regional Council thank you for being here today with us. We appreciate it. I also want to say that the paving on Palm Avenue looks really good. That's nice. And so I appreciate that and what the county's doing, trying to get these roads up to date. And I also want to thank Erin at Animal Services. She has such enthusiasm and creativity, and she called me last week and said, hey, you want to come do a video? And I said, sure, and we went out there, and next thing you know, I'm wearing a doodle wig. And it was funny, and but you know what? It's the creativity that brings the attention. It brings the positive attention to the animal services, and that's what we want, and bringing awareness, and that we have adoptable dogs. They all don't have to be perfect. Doesn't mean they can't be adopted.
We have doodle wigs available for each of you gentlemen as well, if you're ready.
Yeah.
Did you get
Yeah,
the
doodle
extra
wigs,
large
we
size for
send
this
them all.
month?
Yep.
Okay.
We did the treat video, and then we did the doodle video, and she does videos all the time. And believe it or not, I know most of us are old school, but that's what catches the younger population's attention. And my friend said that her grandson come running in and said, Miss Leota's on a video, look at this. And he's like 6. So she was like, I didn't even know what he was talking about. So I do appreciate her creativity and enthusiasm, and her recommendation for the employee. Miguel helped us when I was out there. A very good recommendation. I think he's such a positive person. So thank you, Erin and Animal Services, for all y'all were doing. I know you'll continue to push animals, push the dogs out to get adopted, and we just really, really appreciate that. And I'll echo the sentiments of my colleagues regarding the fair. Take your family out. We went and did it. By the time we were through, old Nana here was hurting from walking so much, but it looked so good. It looked so good, and I'm proud of it, and I know y'all are too, and it's just going to be a great week this week at the fair. So with that, is there anything else to come in from the board? Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll hold our resolution and do that next time for the water management. All right. With that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank y'all for coming.